So we're in the downloaded version of Canvas and we're going to go and make a card. We'll grab a rectangle over here on the left. Now it won't come in exactly the right size. I'm going to work through some shapes too in this card. I'll just pop that back in so it's out the way. And over here on the right panel we've got the properties menu, which has quite a few selections. The edit menu where we can change the size of our card easy enough. The layers menu, which we'll work through in this challenge, and then some settings for your mat that you're looking at on screen. So there's a number of ways you can change the card size. You can just click the arrows up and down and make it a bit bigger or smaller. Just undo that a couple of times. If you make a mistake, just hit the undo button. Oh, one too many. There we go. Put it back on the mat. So you can do that. You can maintain your aspect ratio there with that blue tick in the box below, and that will make the card or the shape change it uniformly. So if it come in as a rectangle, it would change it as a rectangle like that. So that's a little bit big for our card, so we're going to take that off. And I've made the card width 10 inches and I've made the height 5 inches. So to use the grids as best you can, so I'm just going to move that shape over and use that line as the middle line and go over to the path tool and you click on the edge of the rectangle, hold your shift key in. See, if I move my mouse, it's stable. When you hold your shift key like that, it will do a very straight line. If you don't hold your shift key in, it may go off center. A couple of ways to change that line to a dotted line, because we're putting the fold there. So if you're not sure, just scroll down like I just did. Look in the different sections. It pops up the top there anyway, but it also lives in the properties section on the right hand menu. Most of the functions have two places that they will work from. So I've just used the zoom function to zoom in to look at that a bit closer. And that one there, the little hand, will just move your mat around so it's placed better. That one I'm just clicking on now, which is the select tool, will let you select things. So now we're going to grab that, it's all highlighted. We go down into the edit panel and align it in the middle. You can just see that line, in the dashed line in the middle of the card has gone precisely in the middle. I'm going to draw an imaginary box around those again, and we're going to group. And you can group here on the layers menu at the top, or you can go over to the layers panel. You can see the layers there, and there's a group down there. Watch what happens to those shapes on the right. When I hit the group, they jut in and they sit under a group. Well, it's a grouped area. They sit under a designated spot for themselves. So anything else we put on the screen now will add in their own layer. These ones will stay in this layer in a group. That makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me. Okay, so I'm just looking for some shapes. You can add any shape you want. We're just going to put some shapes on the card. There's stars, there's hearts, any of these shapes. Grab whichever one you like. I'm going to use that one here. And we'll just have a look what else is around so you can have a look. But I like that little star-shaped one. You can also use a border, any of these borders if you'd like to, and just add them on or cut them out separately. They will cut out separately if they're the right size. If you cut them too small, they may not be. So you can see in this section here the patterns, the borders, and there's some pre-selected words. We're going to go down to that little shape that I saw before. It's just down here in the purple section. There it is. I'm going to put one of them. So it's coming a bit big, that's fine. Just going to grab the corner and just resize it just like that. To about the size I'd like it to be. You can use your mat to, sorry, you can use your shape of your card as a guide on how big you want everything. And if you go up into the layer panel, you can duplicate. So if you hit on the duplicate, it's made two. And just shrink it a bit smaller or enlarge it if you would like. Remember, you can also do that in the edit panel. And now I haven't gone up to the duplicate menu. I'm doing Control C and Control V. This is a really quick way of creating lots of shapes. Especially, you don't have to keep, if you're doing exactly the same, you just have to click on Control V. See how quick I've done those? So I just went Control V, Control V, Control V, and they all popped in. Now I'm just going to place some, oops, now I've just accidentally grabbed that, so that's good. We'll just hit the back key, because I don't want that to be grabbed. Now that's gone back. Now as a way to solve that, see I've highlighted the card there, and it's also highlighted in the layers panel, and there's a little toggle to lock it. So you can see the padlocks on the right there, and now no matter how hard I try, it won't move. So I can move these pieces around the card as much as I like, and that base shape will not move until I unlock it. It just unlocks and locks as you need to. So I'm really using the card shape as a tool to get my sizing correct on how this is going to look. Now you can subtract it so it cuts out if you want to. However, in this particular tutorial, I'm just going to have those shapes so they cut out of cardstock and you glue them on, which is a really easy way to do it. And you can play around with how you want your design to look. Oh, that's not bad. Now to keep them together, I'm just going to group them so it makes it a little bit easier for us to manage. I'll make sure you've got the select tool. You can see as hold your shift key down and select each object. You can see as I am clicking on them, they're highlighting on the right hand side in blue. And I've got them all. And I can just go down to the bottom, there they all highlighted, and group. You'll see the boxes all change. There it is into one box now. Now I can move those shapes around how I want. Remembering that this card will sit face down, so I've just moved them over to the front, technically the front of the card. And if you wanted to, you can rotate things, or I've just flipped it 180 degrees. So all those features are sitting in the edit property where you can flip, rotate and change the angle. It's really easy just to play around with some of these features, see what they do, and then if you like them, use them again. And put a little bit of colour in. So I've gone up to the properties panel and just selected a colour. And I'm just going to write some text as well. So I've hit on the text tool on the left there, that's that big T. And you click in a space on the mat and you type what you want. I'm just going to type good job. To get a new line, don't enter or try and do it all in one. Click out and start a new line, so they're two separate entities, and that'll be much easier for you to manage. Now they're a bit big, I don't want them that big, so I've held the shift key, clicked on both objects, and I'm just resizing them to be a bit smaller. I'm going to cut these out too from card. So they're all stuck on in a layer. Those little stars, you could use the foam tape and stick them up, raise them, they'll give a nice effect. And I'm just going to add another colour so you can see this properly. So I'm adding colour here. This makes no difference to your design. It's really only a tool to help you see where you're going, particularly adding colour to this card so that you all can see. If you're editing or doing something a bit specky, I would never add colour because you can see the lines much better without colour. But for this, we'll add colour so it makes it a little easier for you to all see. It's nearly ready to cut out. So we will cut that like that, I think. Now, there's a couple of ways to cut this. The best way is to use your layers panel once again. So how we were using the layers before. So we'll unlock that base image. That's the card at the bottom. We can move it again now. We need to unlock that so it will cut out. We can send it to the mat. Now you can do them all on one piece, on one send, if you've got the ability to scan. So you can place your card, different colour card, on your mat, scan it in and move it around, move your objects around so they sit exactly over, so like this. And as long as it fits on the mat and you've got card that will sit in those locations, you can use this method. However, I think I'm going to show you the other way, because when you're first learning, it's much easier to not juggle the card. So when you're ready to, fine, do it. That's often I do it that way if I've got room for more than one colour card. So I'm just toggling off on and off the hide function. So that's the little eye on the right. So I've just brought those back. You can see all the eyes come. You can see the design. And I'm going to just send that base shape in one layer. Also, you can see that the naming of the shapes is there. You've got shape and text. You can actually rename them as well. So I'll go up to the file and it will save as first. So you can choose save as, so we don't want anything to happen to our design. Now work out where you want to save it. I usually save it in SVG and FCM files. I have a folder there. I'm going to give it a name. Just going to call it make a card. So create the folder. So you can see the second one on the top there is a new folder. Make a new folder and then give this a name. And this saves as a CWPRJ file. That's a Canvas Workspace project file. You cannot send this file, see it written there, save as CWPRJ. Go OK. You cannot send that file directly to the ScanNCut on your USB. You can send it via Wi-Fi from your software, but you cannot take it in the USB. So these here are all your sending functions. So I've chosen export as FCM, and you get this warning, which is just telling you that the little eyes are in action and those pieces won't cut, which is exactly what we want. So export FCM will allow you to save in FCM, that's written there, format, which if you're going to send it to your USB, then this is the format you would do it if you're sending it to your machine via USB. And you give it a name just like we gave it a name before. And then the other option is if you've got Wi-Fi available, you will still get the same message to say that it is not going to send anything that's hidden or using the eye. And you can see it's gone. So quick, it's gone. If you have a DX and you have your computer hooked by cable with the DX, it'll give you the same warning. So that's gone over to my cutting machine via Wi-Fi and ready for me to, open it up and pull it in. I'm going to hide that and I'm going to send those other pieces. I've just clicked one eye for the group. That top eye next to the group has brought all the stars back on. That's one advantage of bringing them in a group. And you can bring the text back in if you want to do it that way too, or you can send it in the next run.